Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic. Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic. People, this the intro.
Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you also follow me on all my social media platforms to stay connected with all Keek on the Mic news. So, Bears fans, first of all, happy Sunday. I hope you guys had a really good weekend. I just wanted to come on to the podcast to talk a little bit more about the Chicago Bears offensive line. We've had a lot of conversation regarding the Chicago Bears offensive line, especially going into this upcoming season. As we all know, the Chicago Bears offensive line is under major reconstruction. Obviously, Ryan Poles went out in the offseason, added Nate Davis at right guard, picked Darnell Wright, first round rookie out of Tennessee, to play right tackle. We moved Tevin Jenkins to left guard. And as we all know, we also have Braxton Jones playing left tackle going into his second season now. And of course, Cody Whitehair looks like he will be the new center, or at least moving back to center for the Chicago Bears. So I wanted to come back on here and talk a little bit more about the offensive line, particularly about Braxton Jones. When you look at Braxton Jones, he had a really good season last year, considering that he was a 5th round pick for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears. And obviously, when you look at a guy like Braxton Jones, the Chicago Bears agreed that Braxton Jones actually had a really good season. And even though there's a lot of media and even some Bears fans considering that, maybe Braxton Jones wasn't the guy at left tackle, considering that he lacked power at the position, and every time he would face bull rushers, the pocket would collapse. He would really struggle against bull rushers. And a lot of Bears fans and media were maybe thinking that Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears would in fact get rid of Braxton Jones, but that wasn't the case, because in this year's NFL draft, even though a lot of chatter was going around the organization saying that the Bears may replace Braxton Jones, they didn't. They ended up taking Darnell Wright in the first round of the 2023 NFL draft to play right tackle, and they didn't replace Braxton Jones, and that had to give Braxton Jones a whole lot of confidence going into year 2 with the Chicago Bears, and that proves that the Chicago Bears really like what they saw from Braxton Jones, and they feel like he can improve on his overall strength as a player. And we all know that that is pretty much an easy fix, and that was really the only thing with Braxton Jones that he struggled with last season, was his core power and his strength playing that left tackle position. He was really good against the run, especially down the stretch. But once again, the big problem with Braxton Jones, especially playing that left tackle position, every time he would face a really good pass rusher and go against a really good bull rusher, he really struggled for this very bad Chicago Bears offensive line in terms of pass protection. So he knew what he needed to do going into the season. And like I mentioned, he did excel as a run blocker, so that was good. And I think that's why the Chicago Bears were saying, you know what, we'll give Braxton Jones another opportunity to really prove himself, because they understand that as a 5th round pick in last year's NFL draft, that the ceiling is still high for a guy like Braxton Jones, and they understand that the coaches can continue to drill him and continue to help him improve as a pass protector for the Chicago Bears offensive line. So once again, when you watch the tape on Braxton Jones, especially against really good pass rusher that would have a really effective bull rush, he would constantly get knocked back out of his stance, basically letting the collapse in the pocket. And Braxton Jones even acknowledged these struggles last season that he faced as a pass protector, and he vowed to fix this problem this offseason. And this is where basically the gist of the podcast gets into today on Keek on the Mic. And this is the good news, Bears fan, is that according to offensive line coach Chris Morgan via Josh Schrock of NBC Sports Chicago, it's already evident that Jones fixed his biggest problem. This is what Chris Morgan had to say. Check this out, Bears fans. He had a very detailed plan when he left, offensive line coach Chris Morgan said of Jones. Braxton is a mature kid. He's not even, I call him kid. He's not a kid anymore. His maturity really showed. Like what he said he was going to do, he did. Over the break, he worked hard. We all saw a difference when he came back. back in the building, whether it was strength or whether it was bend. Bears fans, let me be the first one on today's episode of Keek on the Mic to tell you guys this. If Chris Morgan is correct about Braxton Jones, Jones will be an absolute problem this season for defensive lines. And I do want to bring up this point. I want to bring this up today on Keek on the Mic. Offensive linemen are not technically allowed for full contact without pads. Obviously, offensive linemen will get tested a little bit more once training camp comes around in late July. So technically, we haven't even gotten the chance to see Braxton Jones in action yet and to see if he actually improved his bend or his power as an offensive lineman. So he hasn't really been put through a true test yet. And like I just mentioned, that won't happen until training camp begins for the Chicago Bears in late July. But with that being said, and I also want to make this a clear point today on the podcast, Chris Morgan has been coaching offensive linemen for years. So if he says a guy has improved his power and his bend, I will listen and just take his word for it. I have a lot of respect for Chris Morgan. I know he's been around NFL circles for a long time. He's been coaching offensive linemen for a long time. So a guy with his pedigree, if he comes out and says, you know what? I see a difference in Braxton Jones. He has worked hard. I can see that he's already improved his power and bend. Even though we haven't seen it in live action yet, I will sit here and just take Chris Morgan's word for it and be super excited that Braxton Jones is improving as a player. Of course, we still want to see it in live action. We want to see Braxton Jones be tested. And I'm pretty sure once they are able to have full-time contact and pads, we'll get a better indication that if he has improved or not with his power and bend. But for the moment, for the time being, until we see the live action reps, even in preseason, I'm going to sit back and say, you know what? Good for Braxton Jones for putting in the work this offseason to improve an area of weakness that he struggled with last season, and just go ahead and take Chris Morgan's word for it at the moment. So I'll listen to Chris Morgan for the time being. Plus, this is also good news. Braxton Jones also spent some time working with Bears legend Olin Kreutz, improving his fundamentals. So Bears fans, let me tell you guys this. There is no doubting that Braxton Jones has put in the work to become a better player for the Chicago Bears. And I say this all the time on the podcast. I have a lot of confidence in the Chicago Bears coaching staff, the people that Ryan Poles has brought into the building to help develop these young players. And Ryan Poles made it very clear when he became the Chicago Bears GM that he wants to build through the NFL draft. And obviously, Braxton Jones was one of the picks of Ryan Poles' very first draft as a Chicago Bears GM. And I have a lot of faith in Ryan Poles picking good offensive linemen. And this is a perfect example that even though Braxton Jones is a 5th round pick, that he felt that Braxton Jones could be developed. When you look at a guy like Braxton Jones, it's actually a really good pick for Ryan Poles because Braxton Jones played every single game and every single snap at left tackle for the Chicago Bears last season. And the only thing he needed to fix was his power. And like I mentioned, that is an easy fix. And by the early indications from OTAs, from Chris Morgan, and I'm pretty sure even Olin Kreutz will tell you firsthand that Braxton Jones is an improved player. So there's no doubting that Braxton Jones has put in the work to be the best player he can be. And I can tell you this firsthand that Braxton Jones is also very laser focused on taking his game to the next level next year. And I believe that Jones will be a much more improved player, especially against the Bull Rush this season. With his added strength, this will help eliminate some of the problems he was having against the Bull Rush last season. And I believe pass rushers will have a hard time against Braxton Jones if he did, in fact, improve that power and bend, because like I mentioned, he was already really good against the run for the Chicago Bears. And now if he improved his power and bend, I truly feel that Braxton Jones will be an absolute problem for defensive lines this season and ultimately make the Chicago Bears offensive line a whole lot better. And this is obviously a really good news for Justin Fields as well, because at the end of the day, this is all about Justin Fields being able to stay upright, giving Justin Fields time to throw to all the weapons he has around him, which includes DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, all the weapons around him. But it won't matter if the offensive line is not improved in pass protection. So I feel that Braxton Jones did take it personally. He probably heard all the chatter around about how he should have been replaced, how he struggled against, bull rushers, pass rushers, which was true. So he took that personally, and instead of sitting back and crying about it, he went into this offseason laser focused and got the job done. So I'm really proud of Braxton Jones. Obviously, he has a huge chip on his shoulder. Like I just mentioned, he was a 5th round pick in last year's NFL draft. So nothing's guaranteed when you're a 5th round pick, right? So we have to give Braxton Jones his props. And I feel like he will be much improved. I can't wait to see the live action reps where he is more battle tested so we can actually see the improvement with his power and bend. But it's also good to hear a guy like Chris Morgan say that he is improved. And I think we should all, as Bears fans, take his word for it and be excited about the Chicago Bears offensive line, because overall, I am really excited. When you look at the Chicago Bears offensive line, when you look at what Ryan Poles did to help this offensive line improve and help Justin Fields give him more time, it's absolutely impressive. And I believe that this Chicago Bears offensive line will be much improved, especially in pass protection for the Chicago Bears. So obviously, when you look at the offensive line for the Chicago Bears, you have hopefully improved Braxton Jones, which Chris Morgan already said that. So that's good news. You have Tevin Jenkins playing left guard, which is another reason why I think Braxton Jones will be better, because I feel like when you have a guy like Tevin Jenkins right by you, that's obviously going to help you out as well. You have Cody Whitehair playing center, which is obviously an upgrade over Sam Musfer. Nate Davis playing right guard, which he was really good for the Tennessee Titans, so I expect the same here in Chicago. And if Darnell Wright lives up to his first-round hype and status, this O-line should be significantly better in 2023 for the Chicago Bears and for Justin Fields. So yes, Bears fans, we should be excited because we all know if the offensive line is improved, that means Justin Fields will have a better chance to improve in year 3 for the Chicago Bears. And overall, the Chicago Bears offense should be much improved, but it all depends on the offensive line. So yes, we should be excited about the Bears offensive line. And yes, I do think Braxton Jones and the offensive line as a whole will be much improved for the Chicago Bears this season. So overall, Bears fans, I just wanted to come on here and give you guys this quick little update on Braxton Jones. We all understand that if Braxton Jones does in fact fix that big issue with his power and bend, you can be looking at next 10 to 12 years with a left tackle and Braxton Jones and right tackle and Darnell Wright, and it will be beautiful for years to come because now Justin Fields should have the ample amount of time and ample amount of protection that he deserves to continue to improve as a player himself. Bears fans, before I let you guys go, let me ask you guys this. Do you guys think the Chicago Bears offensive line will be improved in 2023? Let me know down below in the comment section. Before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, back for an all-new episode right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You've been listening to Geek on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.